Natejhill has been dubbed one of the most prolific filmmakers in Australia. His roots stem from acting at a young age. He has over 100 credits listed on the IMDb, including 10 feature films that he has directed, one who has often been described as being able to sell ice to Eskimos. His charm and charisma is infectious to be around. He has been dubbed the micro-budget master, the king of schlock, and in the film industry in Australia, you will often hear the term 6 degrees of Natejhill. He was a somewhat lost child during elementary school, until one day the drama teacher suggested to his mother he try acting. It was on stage that he began to find himself. After being picked on a lot by the other boys in school for liking drama, Nathan discovered that he would usually be the only one in a classroom full of girls. That had a big impact on his work as time went by. In high school, he had a major breakthrough when he became the first student in history to get work experience at a local television station, where he performed duties as a production assistant on the AFI award-winning TV show Embassy, featuring Jane Badler and the Doug Anthony All-Stars with Tim Ferguson. Garnering his experience and beginning studies at college, aged 18, he began shooting his first full-length movie, The Hidden, that took the better part of a year to make. The co-writer and friend Nick Goodman is the nephew of Tony Lugton from the band Pseudo Echo, who for a time was considering doing the music composition for the film. Chris Goodman, Nick's younger brother, was one of the cast members who had acted in an episode of Mission Impossible, incidentally also starring Jane Badler. Post-production was carried out at the facility, and at the time, coinciding with the Silver Brumby starring Russell Crowe, Nathan would switch between watching their edit and then go back to his desk and edit his own movie. An avid practitioner of the martial arts and being able to perform the side splits, Hill began his screen debut in the cult short film The Huntsman, acting alongside his instructor at the time, David No, who you will see in Obi-Wan. Much of the film was made with the chief collaboration of Australian armorer icon John Fox, who Nathan would go on to work with on multiple productions afterwards. Nathan enrolled at the Academy of Television, now known as TAFTA, to garner his screen acting techniques. His teachers, including Jason Geary and Ken James from the TV show Skippy. In his early 20s, he auditioned and landed his first lead role in an independent feature film, the romantic comedy Radio Samurai, co-starring ACTA winner Brooke Satchwell, who you will see in Thor. The film had him up on wires for the first time, wearing a stunt vest tailor made by Jackie Chan himself. It was technically the last film to screen at the State Film Theater before it became ACMI. He was talent scouted by director Mark Savage and asked to play in an erotic love triangle vampire film, Crimson Kiss, in which he would be the boyfriend-lover to two bisexual women. As the movie bordered on porn and he thought this might hurt his career, Nathan decided to decline the offer. He was then offered the leading role in a pilot called The Great Dream. In it, Nathan would play Marab, the psychotic vampire alien. The director Val Taylor was uncle to Kim Taylor from Monster Pictures and included Naomi Davis in the cast lineup, who would later go on to act in Nathan's Fox Force movie. Sadly, the project collapsed when funding fell through. Following this, he was cast as the lead in another indie film, horror movie The Tub, which to this day is the only Richard Lehman book adaptation ever made. He was then offered a leading role in another indie feature film, Scam, co-starring Kesty Morassi in her debut. However, upon reading the script, Hill chose to do a supporting role that he liked more so instead. During this time, he also performed featured extra work on the AFI award-winning TV miniseries My Brother Jack, starring Logie winner William McInnes and Martial Law with Logie winner Lisa McCune. Then, when Warner Brothers came to town, Hill took advantage of the opportunity when he was asked to be a stand-in for one of the leads in Queen of the Damned, and in turn was cast as a featured extra as the attacking vampire, alongside MTV winner Aaliyah. It was a childhood dream come true. The film is the sequel to Interview with the Vampire, starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. Nathan also wrote an ebook about his personal experiences on set, which is available to purchase online. Culminating all of his experience on various sets, he decided to enroll in film school, now aged 27. He had heard Russell Crowe didn't land his first lead role until he was 27 years old, and so he had no qualms about going back to school as a mature-aged student. He first made a black-and-white experimental film titled Lost Property, and chose to use a female DOP to stand out amongst his peers. Following this, he directed his first professional short film, The Upsell, a Tropfest finalist, starring Steve O'Donnell from The Block. To finance his way through film school, he continued to act in paid productions, including a bit part on the TV show Crash Burn and the TV movie Evil Never Dies, starring Emmy Award winner Katherine Heigl and Golden Globe nominee Thomas Gibson. By now, Nathan had acted in 3 productions that also starred Niobe Dean, who is best known for her role in the Star Wars fanfare film Broken Allegiance. Rumors were that the two of them were romantically involved. Hill was clearly reinvesting his money from acting back into his own films with the goal of directing movies and stories of his own. In fact, his work on Queen of the Damned alone paid for all of his film schooling, with enough left money over to buy himself a car. He assisted a young James Wan and Lee Wannell location scout for their short film Saw, unaware of how successful their franchise was going to become, and even had a copy of the Wolf Creek script pass across his desk during this time period. He was cast in the movie Razor Eaters playing the crowd assassin in what became a deleted scene, directed by Shannon Young, and stars ACTA winner Richard Cawthorne. In the final cut, you can hear Nathan do a voiceover as one of the police officers. Further down the track, Shannon also directed an Ultra-Tune commercial with JCVD. His second-year film school short film Suburban Nightmare had critical acclaim in local news, and in third year he graduated with his half-hour Jekyll and Hyde adaptation, The Strange Game of Hide and Seek, that won Shriekfest in LA for Best Screenplay. It was the first short film in Australia to gain a national release on DVD and sold out. Turning 30, he received birthday wishes from Tobe Hooper, the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of his favorite films of all time, and was lucky enough to meet Gunnar Hansen on a trip to LA. The film also screened in Melbourne at the Capitol Theatre to a sold-out crowd. Nathan met ABC radio presenter Irene Scott in attendance, and they began a romantic relationship shortly after. He then shot and edited the independent mockumentary Apocalypse Canoe as a favor to his art director at the time, and then geared up to direct his first commercial feature film, Fox Force, a rape revenge horror film that became his first internationally released title. The picture was so graphic it was initially banned by the classifications board before Nathan recut it to make an R rating. Not turning his back on his acting, however, he was cast as the lead in the award-winning pilot Gloom with a View, alongside girlfriend at the time Claudia Buttazzoni from the TV series Home and Away. Hill then jumped back behind the camera and shot his next feature, based on a shocking true story, the thriller 666 Seance Hour. Keeping to tradition, Hill opted to use a female DOP, this time Candace Day, who you will see in Fox Force. The movie has a character voiceover by actor-filmmaker Sarah Lamberg that is technically her first Australian feature film credit. Hill auditioned and was runner-up to play the main alien in the movie Knowing, starring Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage, but instead was given another opportunity to play an alien in the independent feature film Suburban Zero. Following this, he was cast to play the lead as a Casanova in the mockumentary Confessions of a Lady Killer that opened the Australian Film Festival and co-stars Christina Collard from Dracula, The Impaler. Hill received fan mail for the first time, mainly due to the success of Fox Force and Radio Samurai that had both reached international audiences by now. Nathan was being celebrated for being both behind and in front of the camera, and can be seen here in an interview back in 2009 enjoying the attention of mail from his fans around the world. At the time, he lived at a B&B called Ashley Hall that in fact Prince Charles had also stayed at during the 1970s next door to where he played polo. The next film became a role he is arguably best known for, being Jasper. Hill acted in and directed this one, casting the likes of Sandy Greenwood, Sarah Howitt, and Logie nominee Catherine Mack. It was also technically the first full-length film to use the Canon 5D in Australia, and Hill hired Candace Day as director of photography once again. The film has been so successful that it is now a book adaptation. Nathan then met and dated Rachel Young, daughter of top 40 chart musician Clive Young, who performed the hit song Something Special in 1989. The two began living together, incidentally next door to Jane Turner from Kath and Kim. He produced the multi-award-winning short film Isabel, hiring a female director, and stars Jasper Bagg and a supporting cast that he then used in his next feature film Model Behavior, an action thriller in which he directed and acted alongside talent such as Stacey McMahon, Callie Williams, Scarlett Vass, and ACTA winner Damian Hill. The film won the California Film Awards, among others. At the Melbourne premiere, ironically, he found himself sitting next to Brian Canham from Pseudo Echo. It seemed things had come full circle. On set, Nathan met and subsequently cast Persian model Mona Bano, and the two quickly became romantically involved. Sparks flew, but things quickly fizzled, unfortunately, when Nathan went into production on his next film. To gear up for his next big one, Nathan attended a master class with martial arts legend Dan Inosanto. You may remember him from Bruce Lee's Game of Death. Hill's Revenge of the Guelo smashed the competition on the indie film circuit, picking up the Indie Gathering International Film Award, and co-stars Trisha Devisha, Sons of Anarchy's Andy McPhee and Joanne Wynn. He decided to use another female DOP, this time a young film school graduate, Haley Idak. Hill utilized a lot of blood and gore SFX makeup during the shoot, even earning himself a shout-out from Terminator 2 Academy Award-winning makeup artist Jeff Dawn. The opening of the movie was inspired by Mickey Rourke's Year of the Dragon, and is the only film in the world that opens with Chinese New Year Festival in Melbourne, Australia. Nathan also wrote an ebook on the making of the movie that is available to purchase online. In Germany, it is even referred to as Drive 2 because of the scorpion jacket he wears. Mr. Hill was now filmed schooled, an international award winner, and having acted and directed in both independent and commercial films. His passion for being both behind and in front of the camera was paying off, and he was beginning to make a name for himself. He started to pop up in international magazines, including Empire, Starburst, and Desktop. He was now well and truly on the world map as a filmmaker and actor. He was a guest director on the TV show The Star Chamber, starring Grammy nominee Richard Lowenstein and ARIA nominee David Thrussell. For fun, Nathan participated in the Jean-Claude Van Damme Funny or Die competition and played his recurring character Jasper in the short comedy Double Trouble, finally getting a chance to cast his childhood idol Jane Badler. Nathan spent the better part of a year trying to court her, and when she finally agreed to be in one of his films, he took advantage of it. He produced his own web series, The NHP Diaries, using another female DOP, Anastasia Yules, and was asked to assist on the special features of the Greasy Strangler Blu-ray release, where he had the opportunity to cast some of his colleagues. He then acted in a bit part alongside Cannes Film Festival winner Verity East in Daniel Armstrong's Sheborg Massacre. He then acted in 3 commercials back-to-back, one for Healthy Break, then one for RACV, and finally one for WorkSafe that also aired during the AFL Grand Final that year. Following this, he acted in a supporting role as an albino in The Debt Collector alongside John Brumpton and Roger Ward. He then produced another web series, Top of the Hill, starring the one and only Jane Badler and friend Martin Copping, among others. Hill also produced a masterclass with Alex Proyas, director of The Crow, as part of the Melbourne Underground Film Festival. Nathan was asked to participate in the documentary Oh the Horror for worldwide release. He then tailor-made a short horror film for his friends at Monsterfest titled Vampire Hooker Hotel that went on to win awards internationally, including a personal request from Trauma to make it into a feature film. Picking up this momentum, he made another short horror film, Hanya Girl, that was released as part of the Grindsploitation compilation, produced by Tony Newton. In a trial by fire, for both shorts he hired a new colleague, female DOP Dia Taylor. Dia and Nathan became a match made in heaven, and then went on to work together on over a dozen productions. His next feature film, Colorblind, put him in front and behind the camera, directing and co-starring alongside Jane Badler, Anne Gauthier, Jessica Borg, and Jake Ryan. Forming a close bond with editor Mark Bacchides, he repaid the favor by becoming the casting director for Mark's film Cult Girls, also casting Jane Badler, Sarah Lamberg from 666 Seance Hour, and Dean Kirkwright, who in fact replaced Damian Hill after his untimely death. Nathan was then asked to participate in another horror documentary, VHS Nasty, for worldwide release. Changing gears slightly, he then produced his Down Under documentary series, kicking off by hosting Sex Down Under and directing Aliens Down Under, Bigfoot Down Under, and finally, Vampires Down Under. Dia Taylor was hired to be the DOP for the entire series, and all of the titles are also available as audiobooks. He was approached to collaborate on the special features of the Puppet Master Blu-ray release, starring Berlin Festival winning actor Udo Kier, in which Nathan talks about action figure collecting. From a hobby point of view, for him, this was another dream come true. He participated on one more Tony Newton-produced film, Previews of Coming Attractions, a horror compilation released by Filmlandia. Then it was time to get back to fictional feature filmmaking, this one being his 9th I Portrait starring Playboy centerfold Natalie Heslop. It was an entirely female crew, throwing back to when Nathan spent classes in drama school being the only male. Having now shot a couple of short films and a series together, Hill hired Dia Taylor as the DOP. That would be their first feature film credit together. The soundtrack includes hit songs by Jane Badler and Nathan's longtime mentor William Catt. He assisted industry friend Martin Copping in making his directorial debut The Dunes, in which Nathan is an associate producer. The film was picked up by Stan, and co-stars Marcia Volk, who Nathan remembers having to kiss in an audition for a commercial once upon a time. Nathan's 10th feature film, Lady Terror, premiered at Monsterfest to a packed house. The movie co-stars Hill alumni actresses Trisha Devisha from Revenge of the Guelo and Samay Argento from Cult Girls. Bodyguard-turned-actor Adam Ramsey features in the movie also, who during his security work rubbed shoulders with the likes of Michael Jackson and Madonna. Dia Taylor also shot the film. The movie was dedicated to Corey Haim and was massively inspired by the movie Blown Away, that also stars Nicole Eggert. During COVID, and as a favor to director Mark Hartley, Hill acted as a police officer in Girl at the Window, and you can see him on the USA release poster. The film stars AFI Award winner Vince Colosimo and Radha Mitchell, best known for her role in Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. Hill then returned to independent film, this time playing the lead in Disconnected, co-starring Jeanette Coppolino, Crystal Wang, and Kevin D. Passing the torch, so to speak, Dia Taylor this time directed the film, and Nathan acted for her. His 11th feature film, Alien Love, released in 2024, is inspired by his documentary Aliens Down Under. The movie focuses mainly around the Westall event, a mass UFO sighting that happened in 1966 in his hometown of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. It stars Indian model Ira Chakraborty, Singaporean celebrity Rihanna Adams, Sam Reddy from Beauty and the Geek, and John Robertson from Married at First Sight. Hill was then cast to play an interrogative detective in the crime thriller Sleeping Dogs, starring Academy Award winner Russell Crowe and Tommy Flanagan. To act alongside Crowe was not only a bookend, but another dream come true for Nathan. It seemed things had come full circle since editing his first feature film at the facility, next door to the Russell Crowe movie The Silver Brumby. Thank you for watching 6 Degrees of Nathan Hill.